Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today for the Spirit Anchor YouTube video series and the Anchor.fm podcast series. My name is Kristen Schmidt-Dykes, and I'm so excited that you're here with us today. Our guest is Jacki Smith, enchantress, witch, author, and owner of Coventry Creations in Ferndale, Michigan. Hi, Jacki. How you doing today?
Good. I'm living the new dream.
Our new normal.
Our new normal, yeah.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time out of your schedule today to be with us. I'm really excited to talk to you. You have so many different specialties. You're a witch, you're a business owner, you're an author. Can you give our audience just a little background on what you do, how you do it, and how long you've been practicing?
I have been a spiritual practitioner for well over 30 years. Yes, I am that old. I know I don't look it. Coventry Creations is my baby, and that I have been doing for almost 28 years. 28 years, almost 30. And it's always been the entire journey. It's been about teaching and empowering people. From the beginning, from my first candle, it's always been about, you can do this. And it's so funny, when I started making magical candles, I didn't think anybody would want them because anybody could make them. In my head, that's what I was thinking. So what I like to do is take the things that feel too big. Like, how can I make magic happen? How can I do this? How can I do that? And then bring it down to the basics and make it easy and approachable. And so I do that through Coventry Creations business, making magical intentional products, mostly candles and oils. And then I do that. I'm part owner in a store, candlewick shop, and with what I write and everything I do just continues on that journey. And how they all work together is, I think they're all the same thing. I think you have to be magical to be an entrepreneur. You have to be able to manifest. You have to be able to see a bigger vision and do things that are scary to everybody else. So you got to be a little bit of a witch to do it all.
I love it. And you do it all, and you do it well. And there's such a fabulous metaphysical and spiritual community in the area that you live that supports and embraces what you do and your fellow practitioners. So that in itself is very rewarding, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Very much so. Very much so. I really, I have a great community. It's not just Ferndale. Our store is in Ferndale, Michigan, and my factory is in Ferndale, Michigan. But it's just really the community and around. Everyone is, well, I shouldn't say everyone. There are so many amazing, diverse paths. There's people that are, hardcore, Wiccan, ceremonial, etc. And then and it goes all the way to the gamut of people go, I just need something different in my life. There's people who are very conjure. They grew up with it with their mamas and their aunties and their grannies, and they continue to do those same things. And they're not witches, or they don't consider themselves magical. They just do the conjure work that they grew up on.
Sure.
So I love the diversity of magic because it's not religious. So being a witch is not a religious connotation. Being a witch is the practice of manifesting your intent. So it's not only related to a certain thing. You can't say witch and Wicca are not the same thing. Wicca is a reconstructed religious practice that people started to work on to re-own the word witch, and Wicca is very close to my heart. Thank goodness that we have people like Scott Cunningham and the Farrars and all of the Gardner and all the people that started that path for us, so we could find our way back to whatever kind of magic we wanted to do, and do it without apology or without fear.
And I agree with that. And I think when you say you're a witch, or that you practice any sort of anything that surrounds that topic, Wiccan, witch, shaman, or whatever that takes earth magic and puts it into practice, I think it's so misunderstood. Can you tell our listeners a little bit, though, about kind of the energy healing and the manifesting that, as a witch, you can conjure? Can you tell us a little bit about the genesis of how you got into practicing? What's the correct terminology for being a practicing witch?
There's many. There's many terminologies, and I'm not going to say that one is more correct than the other. I do magic. I manifest. So the craft, I work my craft.
Okay.
Because, so let's go back to what magic is. And we all do it every day. Magic is setting an intent, matching that, finding the right vibration to manifest that intent, and moving through your issues and challenges to make that happen, to manifest. So we all start with a possibility. I want a new job, or I want a date. I want to find somebody for my life, or everything kind of comes down to financial gain. So that's work, money, any relationship that we have in our life, something that needs to be healed, something that needs to be cleared, or something that we need to security on or protection. To me, it all comes down to those 5 things. So whatever it is that you want, for me, it was, I'll give you a really great thing because we're in the middle of it right now. So as a business, I applied for the payroll protection program, the P3. I call it the P3. And so since I've been working my money magic to help grow our business, when a lot of this started coming down, I had a moment of, I don't know if I'm paranoid or what I need to do, but I feel like I need to get my loan application in right now. And so I applied for a line of credit with a bank. Well, then I got through the approval process, but we haven't closed on it because the closing came at the same time as applying for the PPP. And so I'm in the middle of working with a banker. He flipped my application to being a PPP, and we worked on that whole thing. And so now it's a couple of weeks until I finally get it approved and closed, and now I'm waiting on the funds. But in that whole process, I'm setting the intent. I changed my intent from growing my business to maintaining my business so that we can survive. And I'm doing my magic around it. I have created a spray for myself. I created, selected the candles. I created a a floor sweep. Okay. So everything was to help me stay in that vibration. Now in this process, it looked like I was getting nothing. Nothing at all. And
why? Because nobody else.
It was quiet. There was too many people applying. It was silence. It was crickets. I got ghosted by my banker.
Right.
But really what it is that there was no news. And then I hear that they've run out of money. And like the day before they said they run out of money, I got this one line from my banker saying, you have an E-Trans number. I don't know what any of this means. So I lit my candles. I used my spray. And I got into the space. I said, I'm not going to stay in fear, right? So the message was, get out of the fear. So I did my cards. So everything I did along this road was a little magical. So I pulled out my oracle. I didn't use tarot because I can manipulate. Sometimes I feel like I manipulate or read into it.
Right.
So I pulled out an oracle that I don't know as well. And I said, what is the message here? And the message was, wait. And at the end of it is results. So I got together with my sister, Patty Shaw, who's my business partner. And I said, we need to do some healing around this because I'm panicking. And she goes, well, I'm panicking too. So we did some healing around it. And we found our own issues, family-wise, the thought form. So all of the pieces. So it's not just I light one candle and this thing happens. Yes, that happens a lot. But when I want really deep magic to make some change in my life, I'm a lazy witch on one hand, so I just want to light a candle and make it work. But on the other hand, I'm a lazy witch, so I don't want to do it 17 times or do a new candle every week. So I want to find out what's underneath all that. So the point in setting this intent for, it was not to get the P3 loan. The intent, and I literally have it written out, not on my desk at this moment, but we set a declaration before the stay-at-home order came in. And our declaration was, we have one goal, and that's to be in business at the end of the year. And I just said to continue to be in business through all 2020. and thriving into 2021. So we set that one goal, one intent, and then we found some things underneath it. So it's goal setting. I mean, magic involves so much business stuff. It's because magic involves the goal setting. And then we had also went in there like, how do we want to feel when we come out of this? We want to feel like we've done the right things. We want to feel solid and grounded. So it's all the different pieces. So magic is I love watching people become magical in whatever they're doing. I see this in entrepreneurs all the time. I see this in leaders. I see this in planners. I see this in people who just ooze love out into the world. I mean, all of that. It's
Right.
all very magical.
No, and I think it is. And I think you brought up some really good points for all of us, whether we believe or practice magic. It's within us. We have the inner strength and the inner energy and whatever you want to call it you were saying that it was really important that you put your energy towards healing and seeing what the underlying issues might be around that fear. Mm-hmm. Can I ask you this? As far as what you're saying, it almost sounds to me like it's very similar to the belief system of law of attraction. So I'm putting my energy out there and for, the greater good to come back to me. Would you say that is kind of a correct assumption with magic and the law of attraction?
Absolutely. So when law of attraction came out, I laughed and laughed and laughed.
I've been doing
this for decades.
Right.
Because the law of attraction, they took all of these principles and then repackaged it and marketed it like the brilliant people that they are.
Sure. With
a secret and everything. There is a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, it's a super misogynistic book. It just annoys the shit out of me. It was written, when was it written? Like in the turn of the century? Turn of the century. Way long ago. Yeah, the 20s. It was right before the crash.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about the Rockefellers a lot, and these are all the Rockefeller secrets. And it's all the same stuff.
It's the principle. It's the principle of law of attraction.
And then those principles go back. I mean, they go back and back and back. Mm-hmm. So you cherry picked them from all of these different places. There's Eastern philosophies in there, and then there's more Western philosophies from pre-Christian. I mean, it's just all there. These are all, nothing's new, Kristen.
Right.
Nothing's new. We just pick what works for us.
Sure. And I think as Westerners, and with my experience in my travels to Eastern continents, that this is just ingrained in people. When they are born, they know that they have those healing gifts within them, and they know how to harness that energy. Whereas I think, Americans have evolved to be skeptical and not to trust that inner intuition or the things that guide them emotionally or intuitively. And I think that by shedding light on things like that, however it was repackaged, is important, because I think it does raise that universal energy that we can heal ourselves, we can manifest, we can, create magic for ourselves in whatever form that may be. So I think that's great. Now, we had talked about lighting candles and the sprays. Do you use herbs or oils when you're doing your healing sessions or your manifestation sessions or incantations, spells? What does that kind of look like when you're trying to manifest something? Is it more internal and prayer? What does that look like for you?
It's different every time. Candles are my go-to, and I don't always have them. I can't always use them in certain situations. Like, I don't light them in hotel rooms because I just don't want a $3,000 bill for smoke damage. So I can't always use them. That's why I bring in oils and sprays. Sometimes I bring a candle and I don't light it, so its energy is there. So what I like to do is set up the vibration. So here's how I look at how it works. If you coulda, you woulda already. Mm-hmm. So I need to manifest. Yeah. So let's say I want to bring more friends into my life, and I'm challenged with that. And I'm feeling a little lonely. Well, if I could have just brought friends into my life, I would have already done it. So I have something to heal. So magic and healing are the exact same thing. You need one to do the other. So then I say, all right, I don't know how to be balanced in friendship. So I'm going to bring in a heart candle, an attraction candle, a spiritual cleansing candle, so I can let go of what's not working for me, work from my heart, and attract the people. Maybe I'll do a healing oil on all of it to heal the situation. Then I usually have the oils and sprays there with me. So I'll light the candles and do the work. And it might be, I do a lot of ink magic, paper and ink. I write a lot of things down. I'm intellectual in that way. Some people will bring flowers around them or go in the garden and dig. I do really great in journaling and mental processes.
Do you do automatic writing?
No,
okay.
I don't do a lot of mediumship. That's too out of control for me.
Okay.
I respect mediums greatly. I hear different things. I sense different things. I get more of a knowing, a clairsentience than seeing or hearing. But the times that I've went and practiced mediumship and I was getting good at it, I just didn't like how out of control I felt. And automatic writing is the same thing.
Sure.
To me. So see, specialties. It doesn't mean I'm not psychic, and it doesn't mean I'm not talking to your dead loved ones.
Right.
It just means that I'm not bringing them through me.
And I think that for a lot of us, because I'm clairsentient, clairvoyant, clairaudient, certain times, but I also think it is our free will. So there's just times where it freaks me out and I'm just not open and receptive to it. So stay on the other side.
Just because they're dead doesn't mean they're smart and healthy.
That is true. So, well, let me ask you this, because so let's talk about candles, because that is such a huge focus of your practice, and your company creates candles for a myriad of different scenarios, so to speak, attract money, attract friends. Your candles are blessed, I believe. Do you do some sort of, what do you do to bless your candles? Let's put it that way.
Patty and I maintain our entire building as a sacred space. So we have different altars, like we have an elemental altar. So, because we attract a lot of these elementals and they can be very disruptive. So we put them to work. I have my spirit altars, the energies that I work with, etc. So what we've done is we've set up macro of everything.
Okay.
So that as we make candles, in the very, very beginning, we would do like a little ritual before we did each candle. And then we realized that was not sustainable. But I want to be authentic in what we're doing. So what we did is we did a lot of more high magic to make sure that we have the energy for each one. So our entire place is a sacred space. We don't hire only witches. They're kind of hard to come by as far as wanting to work for us and make magic. But what we do is we live a magical life. So whomever we hire, we let them know what we're all about. And we may not teach them or require them to be magical, but they have to respect it and they have to know what we're all about. And what we discover over time is they all start to get into it. But that means that we have to be excellent. We have to treat people really well. We have to help them become empowered in whatever it is that they do in life. So that helps that process. I also think the blends have become, because this is almost 30 years that I've been doing this. Mm-hmm. So these different blends have become platforms of their own. We have sold, I guess the last time I figured this was about 6 years ago, we've sold over 2 million candles.
Wow.
Around the world. I think we're getting, and now we make so many, I have to do the math again, but based on us ramping up over the years, we're almost at 3 million candles that we've sold around the world.
That's fantastic. And
so
they're amazing. I buy candles, so I know firsthand that they're amazing candles. So
they're my babies.
Mm-hmm.
We love them so much. And right now we're having to look at who's going to be furloughed in our candles, because we have to shrink our footprint so we can focus on our bestsellers and the things that people really, really need right now. Sure. And some of the products are going to be furloughed for a little while while we figure out how the world has changed.
Sure. So many others are trying to figure out what does my path look like in my small business? What does my metaphysical practice look like? What is, and even for the larger businesses, everybody's in the same boat right now. So.
Yeah, and needs have changed. So our candles, we have our core candles that haven't changed. Our Blessed Herbal Candles is the line that I started with. They're tall and skinny. They are that size because I had PVC pipe in my basement.
Fill, right? So you filled the candle wax in there?
So I had one full length of PVC pipe. I wanted 12 molds. So I cut that pipe into 12 equal pieces, and that is why they are the shape that they are. There's plenty of people copying us out in the world. And if you ever ask them, so why is your candle that size? They're like, because it's popular. No, because I made it popular. Mother Necessity I was channeling her.
Sure.
And that's how they came to be. And oh my gosh, and it took me about 15 years before I moved to metal molds because this is how they're made and this is the size. And so I let go of things over time. But back to that, when I make magic and what do I use with candles and oils? So I don't use oils in my magic as much as other people because candles are my jam. Mm-hmm. But what I do is I charge my oils up and I use oils and I call it walking magic. So when I go to a trade show, I put fiery wall of protection in my shoes, and I put crown of glory or success on my hands. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm talking to people. Here I am, and so I'm protected from all this energy, and that I'm still can be very gregarious. So I just do different things. When I go shopping, I actually put on attraction oils. Come to me or attraction, is what happens is people then bring me the sales. Sure. Although I've not been shopping lately.
Not a lot of, well, online, that's all I've been doing. So
yes. So, and it's not helping there. So, but I haven't tried actually, now that I think about it. So I use my oils and sprays for like walking magic, and I use my candles for more personal ritual time. I love candles being around me lit, although they're not lit right now. I use weird stuff as candle holders. I have my dragon's blood the dragon's blood candle to keep me energized because I'm quickly depleted. I have to continuously disconnect myself from the fears of the world right now.
Sure.
And then, again, not lit right now, I have my uncrossing candle that I'm keeping next to me because I don't want to buy into the panic.
When you have candles next to you, do you think, do they have to be lit for the power to be there, or can they just be there because the intention into the candle was birthed to it, so to speak?
Yeah, once you start that intention, it's still going. That's why it's okay to extinguish them. There's people who freak out about blowing a candle out or extinguishing a candle. It's okay. Your magic is stronger than all that. I swear, I promise. Your magic is so much stronger than that because you're not blowing your intention out.
Sure, just the candle. So
because it starts here.
Yeah.
It all starts here, and a candle or writing or the magic you're doing gets it from here out into the world. Because this is, you get stuck there. You need some help giving birth to that.
That's great. Well, so we're going to continue this conversation with Jacki Smith in a second segment. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.